Hi Harsh, can you hear us?
Hi, Praviji. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
My camera.
So I've also made you the presenter. One of my colleague, uh, Tanvi, she's taking through the presentation, right? So
My camera is not visible, right?
right.
Nope.
Harsh, anybody from your team would be coming to on 10th, or you will be back to India by 10th?
I won't be back, and we haven't received any invitation yet.
Acha. But I've sent you
Either
the
way,
WhatsApp right on the notification. We got it yesterday late evening.
I you just sent a message stating that there is an meeting. You haven't shared the notification.
Is it? Just let me check. I thought that I have. Okay. So it is right.
No
We
worries.
can,
Even if we
yeah.
don't get it, it makes more sense for us to say that we haven't, since if we've not
Hmm.
been officially involved, uh,
Correct.
when the matter is next listed, we will say that we were not called.
Yeah. So here you go. So neither take his presentation separately. Need not to
Mm-hmm.
try to add in Canva and stuff like this. So
Yeah.
that would be always good. To let the things remain very simple. And we have you send the presentation to
So sorry.
I
Shivani?
have already shared.
Yeah. Harsh, we got it. We got it. Only thing since your Sani is Tanvi, I'm just checking her that if he has sent it to Shivani.
Praviji, also it's if my camera is not working, perhaps y'all can share the presentation and I'll join from my phone so that it's easier.
Yeah, it's okay. We can understand that, and I'll also announce you that since you are, or maybe you can say that you are traveling at Switzerland, and maybe coming all together to support for the community purpose. So that's okay.
Am I audible now as well?
But there's a slight echo I
That
could feel.
slight echo, you know,
It would have been addressed now.
yeah, that's okay.
Raviji, should we begin?
So maybe we can wait for a couple of more minutes, so then we can start at 12 2:40 if that is okay with everyone. We can get more audience, understanding that today is a Ganpati festival, so people would be busy with their families and all. So Nidha, we can start at sharp at 2:40, right? Considering the today's challenge, right? So let's not keep others waiting,
Yes.
right? we should have the introduction of all, like who all are the participants here, right? For the better understanding and to of each other that who are representing which organization from or which city or which brand, right? So that would be a great to know about each other, right?
I think we can start now.
Yeah.
First of all, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for this today's meeting. And I would like to wish everyone a happy Ganesh Chaturthi as well. So I just hope that Lord Ganesha bless everyone with a lot of happiness and good health. So my name is 𝗓𝗃𝗶𝗴, and I'm the Senior Manager at the Plant-Based Foods Industry Association. I've been part of this organization for the past 2 years, and I know that some of the members would have also engaged with me previously in various events and initiatives that have been taken here. Sanjay Sethi, who was previously leading the association, stepped down from PBFIA in June. So over the past few months, we temporarily paused our activities. However, I'm pleased to share that we are now back in full swing and ready to move forward with more energy and more focus. It is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. 𝗃𝗶𝗴𝗁𝗲, who has joined as new executive director. He joined us recently and has already been deeply supportive of the industry's development. It has been 2 weeks for him in this organization, and since then he's been engaging with various industry stakeholders, which include PBFIA members, government officials from MUFTI, APIDA, FSSAI, Ministry of Agriculture. The focus of today's meeting is to have an interaction with Mr. Praveer sir and also have an open discussion on a very important topic, which is important for the growth of plant-based food industry, that is navigating the regulatory and labeling challenges in the plant-based food industry. What are the best practices and what will be the future trends? So it remains a significant challenge to not use dairy terminology for plant-based dairy alternatives. Similarly, there are concerns related to using vegan and plant-based term for meat-related names as well. So in this session, we will try to get more details and more understanding on those parts. We are fortunate to have with us an expert speaker, Mr. 𝗟𝗯𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗲 Sahani, who will be shedding light on these matters. And before we begin, just a quick housekeeping point that please ensure your microphones are on mute to avoid any disruptions during the session. We encourage open interaction here at PBFIA, so please feel free to open your cameras and also introduce yourself to the team, to sir as well. And please share your understanding and your opportunities and your challenges related to plant-based food industry. We are very much open in understanding what are the real-term issues and challenges that companies face and even people who are venturing into this sector are facing. So before I quickly hand over the platform also to Mr. Praveer sir, I would request my colleague Tanvi to actually give a brief presentation. We have around 20 people in the room and I'm hoping more are going to join very, very soon. And I request Tanvi to please give a brief introduction and a presentation.
Thank you, 𝗓𝗃𝗶𝗴. Thank you,
Thank
Praveer,
you.
and thank you, Mr. Harsh. Thank you all for joining on a Saturday, and we are all, it's lovely to see everyone. So to tell about myself, I am Tanvi, and I'm working with PBFI as an innovation specialist. So we'll move on to the small presentation from PBFI side over to Mr. Harsh side after that. Yes, Shivani. I hope the screen is visible to all. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That should be.
Okay. So the main agenda to why we got together here is to discuss about a very relevant and challenging topic, which is navigating the regulatory and labeling challenges in the plant-based food industry, more about the best practices and future trends. Next slide, please. So to give a brief about PBFIA, which is Plant-Based Food Industry Association, we are set to expedite the advancement of the plant-based food sector in India. Our work focuses primarily on level playing fields, growth escalation, recognition and linkages in the world by driving understanding amongst policymakers, academia, food producers, consumers, farmers, and allied communities. So PBFA right now has 150 members with around a great following on social media and 60K plus industry contacts. So the founding member of the International Plant-Based Food Global Alliance, which was earlier called as IPBFWG, comprises of associations that represent companies which are working in the plant-based food space from several other countries, with PBFI being one among them. Next slide, please. So one major agenda apart from the topic that we'll be discussing is to introduce our Executive Director, Mr. 𝗓𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗏. To give a brief about Sir brings an impressive 26-year track record of experience in the dynamic food and agribusiness industry. He has leveraged his experience across both corporate and cooperative sectors, making invaluable contributions to improving farmers' livelihood and spearheading the establishment of new businesses and renowned brands within the food and agricultural domains. Mr. 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏 has worked in various roles within large corporations, bringing his expertise to the table and shaping industry trends. He has dedicated significant time to working with cooperatives, focusing on farmer empowerment and supporting community-based enterprises. He is instrumental in establishing new organizations, businesses, and brands with the food and agriculture industry, driving innovation and growth. He has consistently driven projects aimed at improving the lives of farmers, fostering sustainable agricultural practices, and ensuring fair market access. His role as the Chief Executive Officer at 𝗡𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 Limited exemplifies his leadership capabilities and deep understanding of the industry. So to broadly tell about how PBFA can work and help with the growth of different plant-based food companies of brands. So we have given like a framework here so that we will let you know what all are the outlines where we would like to work and support, starting with the most important advocacy and policy support, under which will come favorable policies, regulatory guidelines, and trade agreements. Then the system. Okay. So the second one being the sustainability and environment impact, focusing on the sustainable development goals and impact reporting. Following the financial assistance and investment support where companies require investors and grant writing, fundings and purchasing programs, market expansion and business growth, which involves market research, B2B, networking, export assistance. Then the research and development and R&D and innovation sector, which is mainly R&D support, sustainability initiatives, collaboration with universities, branding and consumer awareness, which is mainly about collaborative marketing campaigns, which a bit about which we'll be telling later, and media exposure, consumer and market data access, which involves industry reports, survey and analytics, legal and intellectual property support, which is legal assistance, patent assistance, and some other to name few, and educational and training, which are workshops and webinars, which we have earlier and will in future will be conducting in several schools and institutions, skill development and sharing best practices. Next slide, please. So this is like an overview of the PBFI calendar. What we have done is we have listed the events within the plant-based food industries within Delhi NCR, outside Delhi and overseas, which our members can have a great chance to exhibit by taking stalls, where it's also an opportunity to network with people of similar industry and great collaborations can be made from the same. So these are like a lineup of events starting from this September until March 2025. Starting with the Vegan Roundtable Conference, World Food India Global Regulator Summit, Plant-Based Navaratri, which is a campaign that PBFI will be holding, which is the 5th edition in the month of October from 3rd to 12th. Few others that are listed are AgroWorld, Sial, Indus Foods, Ahar in the month of March next year, which again is like a flagship event of PBFIA. wherein more details about will be sharing through our social media, and few others to name outside Delhi would be FI India, International Food Tech in Kolkata, India Food Forum in Mumbai, Food Mech Asia exhibition in Surat, and some international platforms would be Gulf Food Green in Dubai, Plant-Based Food Global Alliance in Turkey in the month of November, and Gulf Food Dubai in February next year again. So this is like an outline where you can also keep in mind so that you can have engaging exhibitions in the same time. So moving on to the next slide, which is about the plant-based Navratri campaign. So Plant-Based Navratri campaign is again a flagship event PBFI hosts, and this is the 5th edition where we encourage our individuals to switch to a plant-based diet. So Navratri Se Shubharam campaign is a pioneering initiative aimed at catalyzing a nationwide movement, particularly engaging the younger generations. The main objective is to advocate for plant-based food as a sustainable and healthier alternative, because this is the time when people abstain from animal food. Yes, so at this occasion, we would also like to let you all know that we'll be having our Navratri 5th edition on the 3rd to 12th of October, and we'll be looking forward for several brands to collaborate and partner with PBFI. So we can put that forward within the HoReCa sector, institutions, hold webinars, and few other things which will be coming up. Again, details of the same which we'll put in the social media. Looking forward to everyone's engagement as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so coming on to the main focus of this webinar, as many would be aware, so FSSAI proposed a regulation titled Dairy Alternate Analog Draft Notification, which wants the word milk and its usage to be exclusive only to the dairy industry. So what happens is this is preventing the non-dairy plant-based milk and the dairy-derived products from using the term milk in India. So which creates a lot of difficulties for brands, which they are definitely aware about. So at this occasion, I would like to formally invite and thank Mr. 𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏, who is an expert in this domain, working with the food laws and product compliance team, to speak more and give guidelines about the difficulties within the nomenclature that has arisen due to the rule that has been imposed on the term milk. Welcome you, sir. And this is, I understand this is not clear, but to give a reference, this is a notice which is given by FSSAI stating a stakeholder consultation meeting in reference to the nomenclature of non-dairy and plant-based and vegan products, which is scheduled in a hybrid mode on the 10th September at 10:30 at FSSAI's FDA Bhavan, Kolkata Road in New Delhi, where discussions on the same will be happening, and the reason to why we have held the webinar, so that we can hear from the industry. That's what we're looking forward to. Yeah, yes. Thank you all for listening patiently, and over to Mr. Harsh to take over from here.
Before Mr. Harsh comes in, can I request Praveen sir to please speak with our attendees here and address the stage?
So thank you, Medha, and thank you, Tanvi, to take us through the kind of activity calendar. And about my introduction, so I'm the one among you all. I'm the person, who comes from the dairy background, honestly. And but I've never worked in dairy in food processing. My first company where I was working was Nestle, where I've the one who launched the dairy products for Nestle from the brand point of view. I worked for almost 8 years. Then I worked at the brand called 𝗕𝗲𝗏. As the one who introduced the brand 𝗕𝗲𝗏 in key accounts, the modern trade, HoReCa, and the export purpose. So I understand fully the kind of challenges which all my member partners and dear colleagues are literally facing, for the business development. So that's the area where I can add really some value to and my expertise on that. And then I work for German company, which is a Kruger GmbH, for almost 6 years. Again, I was asked to establish a new business in India. So for 6 years with German. So there I learned about the system processes, the international marketing, the challenges of imports and export. So I was also responsible for the for the SAARC country. There, after that, I have joined a company called Pearl Foods, which is a business partner for Nestle and Coca-Cola, and where we are in the process of launching a lot of new brands, which Nestle and the Coke, which are they are not manufacturing in India. So there, it happens to me that in 2019, before COVID, I met Mr. Harsh, and I was literally impressed about his thorough knowledge of regulatory compliance, the technical aspects. So even a technical person with a technical background would not know what he was knowing the integrities of the FSSAI in the import business and particularly for the export also. And then I was fortunate to work for farmers. I was heading the company as a IFCO subsidiary, IFCO Kisan, where we are doing the business for agri-business. We were doing the precision farming. We were doing the cattle feed nutrition part for the cattle, and we were running the mandate from the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. We are running a Kisan call center with almost 500 plus FTAs, which is Farm Tele Advisor, and these are all graduates and postgraduates in Delhi. I joined PBFIA with a mission that, since after working with multinational to private and then corporate, I really felt that, there has to be some mission or for a person like me, if we have to contribute something for the society. And there I felt that what are the real plight of the real farmers, and understand the ground realities and the challenges. And being the part of, since we were doing the cattle feed nutrition. So, I was always emphasizing to the National Dairy Development Board, Dr. Shah, who is also my college senior, that, sir, there is something on the regulatory part we must bring when you talk about the cattle feed, because cattle feed still is out of the purview of FSSAI. And the context here is that most of the cattle feed manufacturers, they are using more than permitted limit of urea to get more milk from the animals. There is no aflatoxin level norms for the feed particularly. So you can think of the kind of aflatoxin which is going in the milk through the feed only. And in terms of, since they are eating a lot of green fodder, and also there are always a issue of minimum residual level of pesticide chemical and stuff like that. So having said that, without taking, this is what my background is. I'm the person who start from the ground, right? And I fully understand your challenge, the industry, and also in between, I also work with the company when the Tilda got acquired by the US company 𝗓𝗓. So where I worked in extensively to launch the frozen range of 𝗓𝗓. The brand name was Eves, and plant-based beverages, the brand name was Zoya. And we were thinking of introducing our own private label in Indian market, but the market was not so mature. I'm talking about 2018. So it was a cautious decision to restrict ourselves in a journal and the modern trade of this world. So this is about me, and again, many thanks to Harsh. He's traveling. He's in Switzerland, and despite of having his busy schedule, he spare us. He taken a request and spare time to share his views on the present legislation regulation, which is the cause of concern for everyone. And as what Tanvi has showed you the last slide. So, there is a High Court case, which I would say, which I should not get into this. I think that the Harsh get into this, the details. He's the expert of that, and also the counsel for many of the companies. So who have filed a writ petition against the NCDFI and the So thank you very much once again, and over to you, Harsh. Thank you.
Thank you, Praveerji, for the kind words and introduction. Pleasure to be here and pleasure to address this August gathering. I extend my thanks to the Plant-Based Food Industry Association for organizing this session. Uh, Before we get into the details of the labeling requirements and how or what we are going to discuss in today's session, I just just wanted to quickly address a couple of points. Number one was it was previously mentioned that uh, plant-based foods are currently not allowed to use the word milk. That is incorrect. There is a High Court stay already which permits you to use dairy terms as of today. The status quo is supposed to be maintained. Um, and I'll get into more details of it during the presentation as well. Um, just to give you a brief introduction about myself, I am a food lawyer. I'm a partner at PLR Chambers. I represent Government of India in the WTO for technical barriers to trade in sanitary and phytosanitary measures. A natural progression of that is food law in domestic legislation and parlance, where we assist companies in 360-degree support for licensing all the way to labeling and issues if they have with FSSAI. Getting on to the presentation for today, just to give you a brief background, and I'm sure all of you all already know about this, there is, next slide please. The demand for plant-based foods has been growing consistently, and if we look at how it has grown across the world, we see that there is a 9.4 CAGR increase in terms of what the plant-based food industry is looking at globally. There are various aspects that are involved in it. There are multiple reasons why people are moving towards plant-based foods and vegan food products, that be it from religious reasons, ethical reasons, as well as for looking for a healthy alternative of meat and dairy products. Countries such as India, South Africa, China actually offer higher growth amounts in terms of plant-based foods, considering the socio-economic factors that are at play within these countries. Even if we look at India per se, we are currently sitting at $0.91 billion in 2024, and it's expected to grow up to $1.21 billion by 2029. Next slide, please. The overall trend has been moving towards promoting agricultural products, more plant-based products, which are in one sense a subset of agricultural products as well. And I'm not addressing the lab-grown meat and other products here. We are looking at more in terms of what is defined as vegan food products or purely plant-based food products in India. There has been a growing trend year on year. Returns for businesses has been very high, as well as the government of India has been taking role to support such industries. We've seen, I'm also on the committee of APIDA, and there are new regulations that are being formed for looking at how vegan food products or plant-based food products are exported from India. There are cultures being developed, as well as there are other incentives that government has been offering on various fronts, including specifically for export. While they may not be completely aligned, there is the PLI scheme, the production linked incentive scheme, where plant-based foods are also included, as well as certain drawbacks and duty drawbacks and incentives that the government of India has been offering in terms of ROTEP and other subsidies. Next slide, please. So what is the prerequisite of exporting from India to other countries? While before you even decide to export to another country, it is essential for you to look at what are the regulations and the legal requirements for the country that you will be exporting to. You not only need to look at the legal requirements, you also need to comply with the labeling regulations that are applicable to the product when you're exporting. Number of them, and at various instances you'll come across restrictions on using certain terminologies on your food products. We'll be looking into more detail as to how it is being active in certain countries, specifically EU, US, India, Turkey, so on and so forth, just to get an understanding on how plant-based foods are being regulated and treated in terms of labeling there. You also need to realize that there are certain products which may not be appropriately classified for the country of import. They may not be recognized there, and at times you would require special permissions, for which you may require to submit your recipe sheets and register your product in the importing country. These may not necessarily be novel products, but also includes novel products. There are also multiple documentation that you would require to export from India, and especially if you're making certain claims on your products, for example vegan claim or a plant-based claim. While plant-based is not yet formally legally recognized, vegan claim has been made applicable from 2023, and we'll discuss that also briefly in detail, briefly in the subsequent slides. Next slide, please. So before you actually export your product, you also need to look at the aspects that regulate, or what, why would your product actually be better in any other country, accepted in any other country. For these aspects, you need to look at the market type, the entry mechanisms, the business information, the political and social framework that is prevalent in those countries, as well as cultural considerations. We have seen, as an just to give you an example, halal certification is something that is discussed a lot across in India as well as abroad. There are certain countries such as Malaysia, some of the Middle Eastern countries, which require to have a halal certificate, irrespective when you're exporting even vegetarian products. So the biggest misnomer which has to be addressed is the fact that, you know, halal certification may be required even for vegetarian products. It's not something that is restricted only to non-vegetarian products. Overall, there has been, India has been exporting a lot of agricultural and plant-based food products across. The figures that have been given are in general top export destinations that India has, where plant-based foods has also been taking a larger share. Next slide, please. So going into what type of products actually classify, or how do you actually classify your plant-based product for an Indian standpoint? So there are standardized products. These are products which have regulations or a standard that has already been established by the FSSAI, and they are given under the Food Product Standards and Additives Regulation 2011. There is another field or another category of products called proprietary food products. Proprietary food products are regulated under Regulation 2.12 of the FSS Product Standard Regulations, and these are basically food products which are made from standardized ingredients. A lot of products which you would look at, which would fall under the plant-based food products category as well, are normally considered as proprietary products. These products are made from standard ingredients. Just to give you an example for a better understanding, would we say almond milk. Almond milk is made from almond extracts as well as water, and perhaps at times added flavors, so on and so forth. So those fall under the category of proprietary food products in India. There is nutraceuticals, which are health supplements, which may also include certain protein supplements, plant-based protein supplements that some of you would be manufacturing and marketing. The last category that I wanted to discuss today as well is the novel food categories. These are food products which are not generally accepted as safe, or do not have a safe history of being consumed as food for humans in the past. Now, to give you an example, if you're manufacturing certain protein products from isolated microorganisms, mycoproteins, or so on and so forth, those would fall under non-standardized, and you would require a special approval as a novel food product or a non-specified food product from FSSAI. There is a separate set of regulations for which are applicable to such products, where you need to give studies and show why your product is actually fit for human consumption, before which FSSAI permits you to use or sell these products in the Indian market. Next slide, please. So, in terms of labeling, there has been serious controversies across the world on whether or not you could call your plant-based products with names of dairy products or meat products. And we've seen that there has been significant development across the world for these. These issues have also now are being discussed under Codex Alimentarius, which is the global food standard formulating body, and is a part of FAO, based out of Rome. So one of the first examples that I wanted to give was a European Union ruling that came out in 2017, which prohibited the use of the word milk, yogurt, cream, or any other dairy words that were there. There was significant pushback and protest from the plant-based industry in EU, which resulted in the EU parliamenting rolling back the notification. And currently as well, in EU, you're allowed to use such dairy terms. While there are certain EU member countries which also have specific labeling regulations, just to give you a brief background, EU is a union of 29 countries. While there are common rules for importation and common market access that is applicable across these 29 countries, there are also these individual countries are allowed to make regulations for addressing specific aspects of food products. France had published a decree in 2022 which had banned the use of the word steak and sausages for plant-based foods, saying that these are actually meat terms and they are not correctly applicable to plant-based foods. This was challenged by a partner law firm that we work with, and the French High Court overruled this decree, and while it gave a stay in 2022 itself, in 2024 that decree was set aside, and now plant-based food products are allowed to use words such as steak and sausages for plant-based products. In South Africa as well, there was a decree, and the again, with a partner law firm, it was challenged before the High Court, where a stay has been granted, and there has been the hearing was supposed to happen on 8th of May 2023. Post the hearing, the decision was reserved, and it is still continuing to be stayed till the time the final ruling comes out there as well. Next slide, please. Similar instances were there in Turkey, which had a restriction on sale of vegan cheese. While this has not been challenged as of yet, and it's applicable, so if you're exporting to Turkey, you may need to look at the labeling regulations there, especially if you're calling your products vegan cheese, if you're not using dairy ingredients and calling your products with dairy terms there. In United States, there was a bill that introduced certain labeling regulations. There were also multiple litigations that were filed in United States. While an argument was used for free speech to label your product as whatever, however, there is not certain clarity in the United States as well as of yet. There was a draft consultation paper released by US FDA, which is still being discussed with FDA and plant-based food industry in the United States, to allow for use of dairy terms, to use terms which replicate meat terms, so on and so forth. In India as well, in 2020, on a request from Amul and certain dairy food manufacturers. There was an application that was made to FSSAI as well as on non-action by FSSAI at that point in time. They filed a High Court case against FSSAI directing plant-based companies to stop using the word milk. On basis of this, there was a notification that was issued by FSSAI in 2020 itself, which prohibited companies from using dairy terms on food products which are not actually dairy terms. We challenged this on behalf of certain companies such as 𝗟𝗯𝗲𝗹𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗋, iStore and a few others, Raw Pressery and others, before the High Court, and we got a stay on the direction issued by the High Court, thereby allowing companies to continue to use dairy terms until the matter was completely decided. In this matter, there have been multiple hearings, and the stay continues to be in place. There are discussions with FSSAI as well. While during the pendency of these litigations, FSSAI came out with the vegan regulations, which were published in 2022, basically in effect from 2023, which created certain issues for the plant-based food industry as well. And we'll discuss that just on the next slide. If you can go to the next slide, please. So before we go into what the actual issue was, just to recap as to why this issue comes in the first place. There are, as I stated earlier, there is the FSS State Food Standards Regulation 2011, which gives out definitions and standards that are applicable for certain products which are regularized, which are normal products that are sold day in and day out in India. Of course, milk is a category in itself, and milk has been defined under the law as mammillary secretion of a healthy animal. This could include cow, buffalo, sheep, goat, camels, so on and so forth. Donkey milk is also permitted to be sold in India now, and all of these fall within the definition of what is defined as milk. Now, because of this existence of this definition of milk, there is another regulation within the standards regulation as well, which states that you're not allowed to use the term milk or any other dairy term if the product is adulterated or is not comprising of dairy ingredients. You need to also understand the background, the reason why this definition was included. There were two main reasons for this. Number one, even under the Codex Alimentarius, the same definition exists. We have been trying very hard on the global front as well to ensure that the definition under Codex Alimentarius is changed, but you would also appreciate and understand that the dairy lobby as well as the agricultural lobby, which are coexistent in one sense, have a lot of impact and sway on governments, and they see plant-based products which use these terms as a threat, which is the primary reason why it was also included. In India, there was another background to it, which resulted in a specific prohibition on using dairy terms. This was primarily because of adulteration of vanaspati, or rather adulteration of ghee, and the prevalent use of vanaspati in India. Because of these reasons, when the FSS Act was being drafted in 2006 and the regulations post 2006 till 2011, these clauses were included to ensure that products that are not ghee or butter or milk do not use the term milk, ghee, butter, so on and so forth. There is also a correlation with the labeling regulations that are there. There was a packaging and labeling regulations 2011, which was superseded, and now we have the labeling and display regulations, which also have restrictions such as that your label should not carry terms which are misleading to the consumer. However, the defining factor of when to consider your product or when the name is misleading is on FSSAI to decide, and which does create a lot of problem, and which also was the reason why in 2020 FSSAI released the notification prohibiting the use of the word milk for non-dairy products. While this is there are also a number of other products that are included in the regulations, which also include dairy terms for non-dairy products. Some of the examples of this is cocoa butter, shea butter, and coconut milk. And this was the primary ground basis which the Delhi High Court was pleased to grant a stay because of the double standard that FSSAI was trying to impose. In 2022, FSSAI came out with vegan regulations, and these vegan regulations gave out very stringent norms in order to ensure that your product could use the word vegan. This restriction or this regulation that creates these restrictions are applicable only when you're using the term vegan, and are not applicable when you're using the word plant-based. In this regulation, they had multiple requirements where your manufacturing facility also has to get certified. They also were charging an amount for giving this certification, which after certain industry pushback and multiple rounds of discussions, we were able to get them to reduce the fees, which now stands at 10,000 rupees per product. So this is just to give you a background of what and why these issues came in India in the first place. Next slide, please. So actually, before we go on to the next slide, so what is the current state in India? The current state is that you're allowed to use products which have the term vegan, provided you get certification under the FSS Vegan Regulations 2022. Due to the action of the High Court, the stay that was granted, you are currently allowed and permitted to use dairy terms for non-dairy products. However, most of these products fall under proprietary standard, proprietary category of the standards regulation, which is why the name is essential to be included in your FSS license itself. These FSS licensing regulations, while you have to give what are the ingredients, you also have to define and give what name you're going to be using for these products. And we've had significant, I won't call it victories, but significant progress in convincing FSSAI licensing authorities to allow using dairy terms for non-dairy products because of the current applicable stay from the Delhi High Court. A number of plant-based companies who are our clients, we've assisted them to get names such as dairy-based, non-dairy-based spreads, butters, yogurt, so on and so forth, included curds, included for products in domestic manufacturing. So what is unfortunately the policy framework is skewed against plant-based industries, not only in India but across the world as well. This primarily is because of the fact that there are strong lobbies from the dairy and the meat industries which have been pushing back and stressing, or rather emphasizing, on the government to prohibit or restrict the use of terminologies which are traditionally associated with their products. There is that big aspect. However, adhering to the new labeling requirements actually helps build consumer trust. There are alternatives to use of the word vegan. You can use plant-based, so on and so forth. If you do not want to go in, or if there are restrictions or requirements that you can't fulfill under the vegan regulations in India, when you're exporting such products as well, you need to actually look at these labeling requirements in various countries before introducing your products into those countries, to ensure that there is no regulatory backlash on your product specifically. Um, of course, there has been early adopters, and at times what happens is because you've started using a particular terminology for your product, it's difficult to change them, which is also one of the reasons why we recommend that uh, your licensing framework should be appropriate to ensure that you're allowed to use those names for your products, so on and so forth. If there are requirements and if you want to make claims such as vegan, organic, or non-GMO, make sure that these are tested and you have the requisite regulatory permissions to have and to use these terms on your products. I think that's all. Next slide, please. I don't think I have another slide after this. This is just to give you a brief overview of what is happening around the world and in India, specifically with plant-based food products. I'm happy to address any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsh. Thanks for your elaborated. Yeah. So Saranya, we can start the.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. We have a start. We have a start. Trial stage of plant-based ice creams from
Your
plant milk.
Saranya, your voice is there's an issue. We are not able to hear you clearly.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Can I continue the question?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We have a startup, and where we are working on. Actually, we are doing the trials of making ice creams from plant-based milk. So, can we use the term ice cream when we do the labeling?
So, Harsh, should I answer here? If that is okay. So when you talk about the ice cream, definitely no, we cannot use the word ice cream. Rather than we have to use the frozen dessert term on the label part. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and it is not so again, Sharanya. It is always sorry, so- Saranya, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sharanya.
Yeah, Saranya. So again, from the brand or from the market point of view, I would say that please don't position your brand as as a me too of ice cream, because there is a lot to deliver when you talk about plant-based ice cream, and then probably you can deliver, talk about the goodness of your product. You can talk about the nutrition value and
Okay.
something positive on that part, and try to position your brand. Otherwise, if you keep on position yourself next to the ice cream, people keep on comparing it with the price point. 10 रुपए का आइसक्रीम मिलता है अमूल का, शरण्य की आइसक्रीम 50 रुपए की है with the same 100 ml cup. So though this you would always create a confusion, and most of the companies in the alt meat category also, if they have tried to position their product next to the milk, or a real chicken or egg or all, they all
Right.
fail miserably. So it
Oh.
is not advisable from the marketing point of view, and
Okay.
also from the regulatory point of view. We cannot use the term ice cream.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Noted. Thank you.
We have few members who have also joined us today. I can invite them also one by one to speak. So I think Mr. Goyal is here. He's from Nature's Bio. They have a brand as 1.5 degree, and they are actually working and creating plant-based ice creams again. So can I request Mr. Goyal to introduce?
Hello, hi Mida, how are you? Was it addressed to me? I just want to
Yes, yes.
yes, it's nice connecting with all of you. I think is there any particular question shall I answer?
So yeah, Mr. Goyal, you can add to what I said, or if you have some other opinion or advice to Sharanya, I think that is more advisable or would be welcome from your side.
Okay,
Thank you,
perfect.
please.
So I think I agree with Praveen ji as well. But what I feel these days in the industry is we are getting a lot of respect for plant-based because of its nutritional value. And I feel somewhere or the other people are ready in the market to give the premium price points to our products as well. So I think that the comparison which you gave for, the Amul being 10 rupees and the plant-based being 50, I understand the point you want to put up, but yeah, I think then corresponding to that, it is better if how we market ourselves and we
Mm-hmm.
can show our benefits, we can show our premiumness, we can show our quality of the product. And
Okay.
I think India is such a vast market that there's a huge scope of potential for the same in the industry. And I would just like to thank my product development team, who I believe is here, 𝗓𝗃𝗂𝗏 and everybody. They have worked tremendously hard and they have created great products which are now being accepted in the industry as well. I think that's all from my side. And thank you to everybody in the plant-based industry as well. So we are always keen to learn and grow together because we feel it's the overall growth of the industry which would take each and every person, each and every player in the market ahead and overall segment creation in India as well. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Anand. Again, so as I told you, all that plant-based industry association, apart from the regulatory part, legal and stuff like that, since my orientation is more towards the business side, so I honestly I believe that if we get more consumer awareness, we get more offtake, that would always help us, our all our ventures to take the new height, right? And I'm being very open, and that if you feel free to get in touch with me for any of the query, whether it is related to brand positioning, marketing, consumer awareness, and also when if somebody, if you have joined that. So Tanvi was talking about the Navratri the Shubharam. So that's the one initiative which we are trying to, align with the culinary or a hotel management institute like IIT Pusa, Delhi, Banarsi Das Chandiwala, so that if your target channel is B2B or Horeca, so that the budding chef would also get acquainted with the brand. That this is something you need to do the ice breaking again and start the you're reinventing the whole wheel. So idea would be to get arrange who can serve meat together with the brands and announce the first, second, third prize winner. Only thing what we require some of the raw material which you want the budding chef would use, and there would be a judging panel comprises of their faculty, your R&D head or yourself, and one of the members of the PBFIA. So that would be one good PR which always helped me in my previous experience with Nestle or Tilda to crack all the Horeca segment. And similarly, when you talk about the organized trade, so I've already started talking to most of the quick commerce and the retail format, the buyers, the category head, the chief merchandising officers, that let's have a week where we celebrate the plant-based products. So that like the Tata Soulful is doing the millet mela. So we can also have like even during the Navratri. I don't know because the timelines are considering this. It seems challenging, but definitely something which is before Diwali. We can always have a joint promotion where your brand should be showcased, and only thing what you require is for a week or 10 days time some percentage of consumer offer. So I think these small activity again would help us and work as a brand building exercise. And we also need to calculate the cost per contact which you guys are getting. And also important, second thing, when we are aligning with the authority or a key institution like Ministry of Food Processing or a PIDA, right? If I have an orientation that I look India as an export market, right? So first thing that 𝗡𝗏𝗏 organizes and support a lot of Indian producers, exporters, and along with the MOFP, that you should go to the various events, whether it's the SIAL, Anuga, or Dubai Gulf Food, etc. So, they provide the subsidized stalls, and even I'm pushing that why you are charging, even some money to them. Because in previous assignment in Germany, the Cologne Messi were not charging any money from the German companies. So it was a support from the trade side, so that our member partners, can go and exhibit. For that, what we have thought, let's arrange a high tea snack with the staff or key members of MOFP, or a high tea snack with with 𝗡𝗏𝗏. So it would be again a great peer exercise with the authority, that they would know, okay, X brand is coming up, they've sponsored, they like the taste, and also they would recommend, so that you should not go and again, tell them that this is who we are and all this thing. So again, these kind of initiative we would be taking, in due course of time. Ministry of Food Processing, 𝗡𝗏𝗏, they all are looking at us, that there should be more participation from the from our members during the exhibition. And I think on this coming World of Food, there would be reverse buyer seller meeting. So there would be more than 150 buyers coming from the various markets. So this would be an excellent platform for a manufacturer as a brand owner to get all the buyers, and we can do the B2B meeting, which is relevant for your business, for depending on your country and your product portfolio. So we can always facilitate that. That's again on a business development path. So that this would be, and also I particularly want lot of inputs and lot of insight regarding what kind of challenges are we facing in the market. What kind of support you would need. Like for that, we are going
Praveenji,
on 10. Yeah.
if I can just add a point here as well,
Yeah.
Government of India also supports through export promotion schemes,
Correct.
allowing for companies who are established in India, who have a retail base in India, to export their products outside. They also at times, and depending on the scheme in which, through DGFT and through export
Promotion
organizations such
process.
as
Right.
PO, uh,
Yeah.
they give you not only the cost of the stall, but also pay you return airfare to actually go and venture into these new markets. That is something that perhaps your members can explore as well.
Yeah. I think this is what I was trying to mention here, that there are schemes, there are incentives. So when I went to my MOFP joint secretary, he said, Praveerji, there are multiple schemes which we have started for MSME, but have they really utilized that? So, again, the question, the ball comes in our court. So these are the few things, which we keep on talking about, the practical and the business aspects of this industry as a whole. And I would say that we are also, talking, planning for a newsletter, sort of to start with, where we want, people like Hirsch, maybe the scientists, expert panels, R&D guys, and the new brand owners to come and, showcase, give us a small story about the new development which is happening at the marketplace. So this is all which is in our mind. And yes, we all know that since Mr. Sanjay has left, so there was bit of pause in the inactivity. But now, since we have the full of excitement and the list of activities which we have already calendarized for coming this financial year. So I hope that we would be able, and I'm particularly expecting a lot of support and cooperation from my member partner. So that's all. If anybody has any questions, so we can take it. Yes, Jaganeshwar.
Yeah, hi Praveen and hi Hers. Thanks to organize this session, the organizer, and especially thanks to Palak to invite me. Thank you, Hers and Praveen, for giving insight. Actually, let me brief myself a little bit because I'm not particularly this field. Like I'm purely from the engineering technical background, but I'm planning to start some food business like ready to eat and few nutrition products. So I have only one question, like is there any government platform is available from where we can get the complete insight and information, like if I'm planning this product, so which type of licenses and which type of, like in which category, food category it's come. Okay, so accordingly I can plan better for my product, and like I can select the product name, product type, etc. So this is why, because I am then completely new. I have no such type of backgrounds in such type of industry. If you can provide me some details or like the
There are,
links, then it's going to be better.
if I
Thank
may
you.
address that, most of
Yes,
the
please.
information most of the information is available on FSSAI's website as well. The licensing system is also completely online, which you can apply using POSCOS. Uh, yeah, so you would need to look at it. I'm sure you would also have a food technologist who would be brought on board when you're manufacturing or when you're designing your new products, who would be able to help you categorize them better. Um, if not, you can have lawyers can assist you as well. Uh, there are the classification is sort of more on food technology side, so you can look at the regulation and see if your product falls into a particular category. If it falls under standardized, if it's made with standardized products, it falls under proprietary, or it is a novel food product. So that information is all given on FSSAI's website as well. You look at the regulations tab there. All the regulations are also provided there.
Thank you, Nurse.
Thank you very much. Yes, Sonal. Please unmute yourself. Just Sonal. Sorry.
Well, I think your mic is disabled when you might have joined this link.
Praviji, also, I am sorry, I have a hard stop in the next 5 minutes. I have
Yeah.
another.
Please feel, and I think Harsh, thanks again. For sparing the time. Right, that too from Switzerland. I can see the Swiss flag behind you and the beautiful blue sky. Right, and if yes, so once again, so we'll be in touch and wishing you the happy stay and the meaningful work in Switzerland. See you soon in India.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
Harsh. Thanks. So meanwhile, anybody has
Sonal
any
is just
question? We
joining.
can.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry. I just received a call from Sonal. She is joining back. She's
Okay.
checking her microphones. We have few more members here. I could see Varun here. I think Varun from Prot Foods is here. If he would like to speak. And we also have Zeel here. She is a plant-based nutritionist. And any other who have any questions, even they can put across or introduce themselves.
Meda, thank you, and I will quickly, introduce Prot to Mr. Praveer and welcome him to the association. Obviously, this is the other side of welcome that I would like to extend. So, hello, Praveer. This is Varun, one of the founders at Prot, and if not Prot, you would have heard about 𝗡𝗃𝗏, where we started our journey into the plant-based ecosystem. And yeah, I think I was just able to join this discussion for a very short time because I was engaged in a meeting earlier. And it's great to know that, you are leading the front from a new beginning and, what needs to be, worked around the sector. So any support that we can extend from Prot, and we'd love to extend all the support towards the association members. And yeah, Praveer, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person as well whenever you are in Mumbai next. I think Medha and we will be coordinating that very soon.
Yeah. So yeah, Varun, I think thanks, and I think hopefully next week we are planning to be in Mumbai.
Absolutely.
So yeah, see you soon there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. So Medha, I think you can take, keep your phone put on a speaker mode so that Sonal can put her question and we all can listen to her, and if that is a solution, it is a jugaad, I would say so.
Let's try this.
But I think Sonal has joined. I
Amida.
can see her.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
She's here. Yes.
Audible?
Yes,
Yes,
it's audible
yes,
to
yes.
us.
Yes.
Super. Lovely to have Praveer with us finally. So welcome, Praveer. And so are you Praveer or Praveer?
I'm Praveer.
Okay,
Not
Praveer.
Praveen, it's a Praveer, right?
Okay, Praveer. Yeah, Praveer. So super excited to have you, head PBFIA now. And just a request. So my background, we do Compassionate Choices Private Limited, under which we do a brand called 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. We are India's first dedicated vegan dairy alternatives brand, started in 2013. Started with ice creams, which is technically called frozen desserts. As of now, as I speak to you, we are the only brand in India which is fully compliant with FSSAI vegan ice cream labeling laws. Have gone through a series of experiences of our own, after which we have arrived at that stage of labeling. Would be happy to share those with anyone who's concerned about the same. Saranya and others. On the butter part as well, quite a many experiences in there. Would love to kind of point out this here at this stage, that FSSAI is not against say the nut butters being called as butters, and we can jolly well write them as vegan butter, of course complying with the laws. However, with margarines, which is our product technically speaking, and I have no hassles in getting our product labeled as margarine, because Praveer, you would know, or I mean, so margarine is nothing but a formula of oil and an emulsifier, which all the currently sold vegan butters in Indian market are. So I do not see any reason why. Again, I think I'm not sure I'm not sure, absolutely sure there, except for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, how many other players are writing margarine? Not sure. But yes, technically speaking, as per the laws, we all should be. And again, because क्या होता है, FSSAI ऐसा एक वो पहाड़ है ना, कि अगर वो हल्का सा एक आध फाउल प्ले इधर उधर में देखता है किसी प्लेयर पे, तो फिर वो पूरे ही सारे प्लेयर्स की तरफ उसकी नजर जाती है. So might as well, if we can avoid displaying those errors in our labelings, then the entire community remains safe from their unnecessary day-to-day interventions and hassles into our into our business. And would really urge PBFIA to continue the difficult task which it had started with during the time of Sanjay Sethi ji, to get more leniency done on the labeling laws, because unlike what Harsh said, it is not just 10,000 per product, but the tests which are entailed in those procedures, Praveer, are pretty cumbersome and pretty difficult. To give you a short glimpse, I'm sure your team must have already done that. The day we met, many of us met at FSSAI office just a day after. Akashdeep, you remember? We met at FSSAI's office just after PBFI's annual event. there the chairperson of the FSSAI vegan labeling committee, he had himself, when he went on the dais, Praveer, the very first sentence which he spoke was that now vegan labeling laws are very, very difficult in India. So, I mean, the whole idea is to, clamp us down as much as possible on their part, while we request PBFIA to actually continue to work on our foundations. Because अगर हम ऊपर बड़ी बड़ी buildings ही सिर्फ खड़ी करेंगे जहां पर हम exports और big exhibitions की बात कर रहे हैं, पर हमारी foundations कहीं ना कहीं प्रवीर अगर वो shaky है ना, तो जब बड़े orders आते हैं प्रवीर, तब सारा ना वो हो जाता है, हिलसा जाता है system. तो वहां के लिए मेरी आपसे बहुत एक humble request है that we continue to work on the foundations as well, while of course building up the amazing, the whole palatial setup of the, the big exhibitions, because that is the way to really grow forward.
Right. So Sonal, just to give you some things in context to that, right? What you said. Number one, here that when the onus is on the manufacturer, right?
Yeah.
Or on a brand, that they should not take any shortcuts, to put anything which is negative on the industry for sake. No, I'll give you one example. Like if you talk about the export, since we are talking about the export,
Yeah.
so there is a you talk about the organic produce where we require an NPOP certificate. So there are multiple agencies which are approved by EPIDA, but when the product actually reaches the destination country, it failed to comply. And why it is happening, and that's bring lot of negative to the Indian subcontinent, that the agencies themselves, the certifying agencies are not correct. So you can always get relevant certificate. So now one thing which I also read here, that the FSSAI kept it this mandate, it is mandatory for the manufacturers to get their product certified through FSSAI certified laboratories or FSSAI. So there are list of labs from where you have to send your samples and stuff like that. So that is something which is important.
नहीं सर, FSSAI certified नहीं है सर. सर NABL वाले labs होने चाहिए बस. FSSAI के labs से भी करा सकते हैं. ये है सर, दो तरह के labs हैं.
हाँ. But NABL accredited को मान रहे हैं? Are they accepting that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's something, if we see that way, I think if I would be a brand person, I've been launching something new in India, first of all, I make sure that my product must comply 100% on whatever regulation it requires. So, because end of the day, we should feel that, हमको नींद आ रही है. We otherwise, we always feel there would be some sampling which could happen from the distributor point or from the shelf and can put you on soup. So again, so I think this is something, and eventually this category, when you talk about the vegan for sake, we are expecting the new charter, from the FSSAI to come up. So we were talking to them. They could give us one notification where they have reduced the the amount. They were saying 25,000 per product. Now it is 10,000 per application, and you can put you can put all the products under one application. So again,
आ चुका है सर, all products under one
आ
application.
चुका है. आप वेबसाइट में है. You can Google it.
Yes. Thank you
Right.
so much for
So
sharing.
that is something which is of the interest. Maybe because the bigger brands, they have the technical team. They have the legal team to understand all the changes which is happening. But for a startup or somebody who's relatively new, and the scale of the business is smaller, to get the expertise and stuff like that, it would be really challenging, and it would cost a bomb for them. So here we say that, okay, we are here. So we can always help you out in any resolving any of your query, be it regulatory, production, or whatever labeling, so that's up to manufacturer our members to come up with the whatever the queries or whatever challenges they are facing, be it export or domestic market. We will try to do this to our extent, whatever in a best possible way. So, and that's all I can say so now.
Thank you so very much, Praveer. Thanks. It really helps.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I think it's now time to to close the discussion, I would say so. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, it is again for me, it's a orientation journey now. I've been meeting, talking, understanding the industry once again. So what are the and during this, my internal target is that within a 1 month, I should be able to meet at least 4 to 5 different category of manufacturer to understand the ground reality, and would also love to see their manufacturing facility if they allow me to visit. And and anywhere where my experience of brand building, retail, export, quick commerce would help, then definitely I'm being ready to help you out anytime that way. That I can assure you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you, Praveer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Praveer. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
you everyone for joining us today. So you can write to us if you want to have, if you have any questions, you want our support, you can even write to us. If you want, shall I put your email ID and your contact number in the chat box?
Sure.
Yeah. So if you want, you can leave. You can type your contact number and the city and the brand name if that is okay. So we would interacting with you, and we'll be meeting if we are coming to, or if we are in Delhi or in Mumbai or in Bangalore. Definitely, we will love to come to your place, and we'll have a tea together or coffee, whatever it is.